A lot of people believe that if you are unhappy, there is something wrong with you. The world is perfect. Other people are perfect. Your environment is perfect. You are the problem. And you must seek help. And when they say that you must seek help, they're not saying that you must try to change your life. You must change your friends. You must live in a different place. No. They're saying you must go and see a psychologist or someone who's going to prescribe a certain medication for you. Because there's something wrong with you. You need medication. There's no way you'd feel unhappy in a world like this. I mean, look at what's going on, man. Look at the trees. How can you be unhappy? You can't be unhappy if everyone else is happy. So clearly, there is something wrong with you. What a lot of people do not realize is that we're social creatures. Whether we like that or not, it's true, we are social creatures. You don't want to live with people who don't understand you. And if you are different, other people ain't going to understand you. Because you're different. They've never dealt with anything like you. And even if they have, they probably didn't know how to deal with people like you in the past. If you're very intelligent, they don't know how to treat people who are very intelligent. People who have their own ideas, who have their own way of looking at things, their own way of doing things. They don't know how to treat this kind of people. You are supposed to be like everyone else. If you're not going to be like everyone else, they must have a problem with you. They must mistreat you in many different ways. If you end up not feeling okay anymore because of how you have been treated, you are the problem. Oh, you ask a lot of questions. The problem is that you ask a lot of questions. Why can't you just be like everyone else? Why can't you just accept things as they are? You'll be happy if you accepted things as they are. No. Some people can't accept things as they are because they are conscious enough to realize when something is not right. You see the problem? Some people are conscious enough to realize it when something is not right. Some people are not conscious enough to realize it when something is not right. So, even if something is wrong, they won't be able to see that, well, something is wrong. So that is why they accept things as they are. This is one of the biggest reasons why the world is not like really changing for the better. It's because people accept things as they are. And don't tell me about technology. Be like, oh, look at technology. That means that the world is changing for the better. That's not what I'm talking about. You see, the world will never change for the better until we find a way to actually make sure that each and every person is okay. If there are people who are still being oppressed, the world is not changing for the better. We shouldn't be having people who are still being oppressed, people who are not free to make their own decisions. You are wrong if you want to make your own decisions because I feel like you are wrong, or because the religion that I believe in tells me that people who think like you are wrong. If we still think like that, the world will never be better. No matter how we improve technologically, because we will still have problems. Look at what we're doing online. There's no unity. There's no understanding. If you are a Muslim, Christians are against you. If you're a Christian, Muslims are against you. And we see that happening online. There's no unity. There's no understanding. If you are an atheist, you have a problem with people who are religious. If you are religious, you have a problem with people who are not religious. The people who are not religious have a problem with people who are religious because they have been forced to believe in these religions. So they still angry. Some people grew up in countries where they were forced to follow a certain religion, so they're still angry. They still have not forgiven their parents. They still have not forgiven the people who were forcing them to follow, the religion that they were forced to follow. And they're against children being forced to believe in a religion. They're not wrong. But people who are religious are going to be like, oh, these are our enemies. Is it so? There will never be peace. There will never be understanding. So let's not lie to ourselves. The world is not improving. We're still stuck. No matter how much we improve technologically, things will still suck. That is the problem. If there are people who are conscious enough to see that we are the ones who are causing our own problems, and they know exactly what we need to do to fix the problems that we have, but we don't realize that, we keep on making the same mistakes that we've always been making, and they start feeling sad. They start feeling unhappy because they realize that there is no hope. They realize that we are too ignorant. We don't see things as they really are. We are very delusional. Like, we were meant to be delusional. Like, being delusional is actually good. As a human, you must actually be delusional. If you're going to be rational, then there's a problem. Of course, people ain't gonna be happy if they are being treated like there's something wrong with them when there's nothing wrong with them. Can you imagine if you are more intelligent than everyone that you live with, but they treat you like there's something wrong with you because they don't know how to deal with people like you? They view you as their equal. I mean, yeah, it's good to believe that we are all equal, but we must realize if someone is different. If someone has different ideas, we must realize, okay, they have different ideas, or they have a different way of viewing life. Maybe they don't want to follow the path that everyone is following. I mustn't make them follow the path that everyone is following. I must allow them to be themselves because they are who they are. Human beings are different. People who were very intelligent when they were little had to go through hell because they were being forced to conform. They were being forced to be like everyone else. You want to know why they were being forced to conform? Why they were being forced to be like everyone else? It's because we are supposed to become slaves. That's it. That's what this whole thing is about. We must all be the same so that we will be slaves. You see the problem? We must all be the same. If we're going to be different, we're not going to be easy to control. How do they control people who are different? They want everyone to be the same because they'll know exactly how to control everyone. Like, oh, no. Everyone is religious. We know exactly what to tell them if we want them to think this way. But if everyone is different, you can't control them, you see? If everyone is themselves, you can't control them because they are different. So everyone must be the same. If some of them are different, we must make them believe that there is something wrong with them. Force them to be just like everyone else. Force them to conform. Make everyone else think that there's something wrong with them. Make everyone else mistreat them. That is the problem. That is why people believe that there is something wrong with you if you are unhappy. Even though there are a lot of things that are happening that are making people unhappy. There are a lot of things that are happening that are making people unhappy. Even the people who are supposed to be happy are not happy anymore. Like, things are so bad that even the people who fit in perfectly are not happy. So it's not only the people who are different who are unhappy, it's also the people who don't really have a problem with the way things work, but they are being affected in a negative way and they don't really understand, how they are being affected in a negative way because this is how things should be. Like, things are so bad that everyone is unhappy. It's just that people who fit in don't want to admit to themselves that they are not happy. Can you imagine if you were very religious and in your religion they taught you that you are here because God wanted you to be here. You are here to serve a purpose. You are important. God knew you before you were born. You will believe that you are here for a good reason, so you have no good reason to feel sad. You have no good reason to feel unhappy. If you feel unhappy, it means that there's something wrong with you because, well, God put you here for a reason. He knew exactly what he was doing. Is it? So it's hard for people to admit to themselves that, hey, I'm not happy. Yes, I understand that I've been brought here for a reason by God, but the truth is that I'm not happy. Like, they can't really be honest with themselves. And if you're not honest with yourself, you're not going to be honest with other people. They act like they're unhappy because they're unhappy, but they can't really admit to themselves that they're unhappy. You see? So it's people who are different who are able to admit that they are unhappy because, well, they've been unhappy for the longest time. So they're not ashamed anymore. They're not ashamed to say, hey, I'm not happy. Hey, this is not working. Hey, I don't believe in this. Because they grew up saying that. You see? I grew up speaking the truth. I wasn't afraid to speak the truth. I was so different that I was able to see when something is not right. Like, right away. When something is not right, I will be able to see that something is not right. I remember when I was growing up, they would cut the lower part of the tongue, like from of a puppy, right? They'll be like open its mouth and then cut the lower part of the tongue. Be like, no, the dog is gonna die if we don't cut that part. No, be like, no, that's ridiculous. I remember my granddad, my dad would be like, no, we gotta do it to your to pup, because I still love dogs. I love dogs growing up, so I'll always have dogs. But like, no, we gotta make sure that we cut the lower part of the tongue, whatever. I'm like, no, there's no, like, you are ridiculous. Like, you are you telling me that white people do that too, or we just believe? I don't even know who made us believe these things. Like, you just believe things without questioning them. Like, it sucks. It's like there was someone that people worshipped, our ancestors worshipped, who told them that, and they just went with it as if it made sense. It didn't make sense. Now they don't do that anymore. That's what's crazy, and that actually does make me angry, because I've been right about everything the whole damn time. And it surprises me how they were unable to see that there was bullshit, because they really believe that shit. You understand? They really believe that, and they will. Dude, I remember they did that to this other dog that I had, and I was damn angry. Like, I was so damn angry, because I knew beyond any reasonable doubt that it was bullshit. You understand? Like, you are so conscious that you see that what the adults are doing is fucking ridiculous. So it sucks. You imagine how you actually grow up in a place where people don't think right, where people don't see things as they really are. By the time they see the truth, it's already too late. By the time they see the truth, you've already been through hell because of their ignorance. You're already traumatized. How are you going to be happy? How are you going to be able to connect with them? They are already, like, they're left behind, like, they can't really catch up with you. So of course you're not gonna feel good, but they're gonna think, oh, there's something wrong with you, that's why you don't feel good. Like, no, there's something wrong with y'all, that's why I don't feel good. Like, seriously, like, sometimes we need to be truly honest with ourselves. There's a reason why depression is common among people who are intelligent. Now, people will say, well, there's a relationship between intelligence and mental illness. No, there isn't. What happens is that when you're very intelligent, you go through hell because other people ain't like you. We're social creatures. We need to connect with the people that we live in. We need to be understood. We need to be heard. If that is not happening, you're not going to feel good by default. And they'll say, well, you have a mental illness, so you must go and get help. Never say, well, it's possible that you're not in the right place for you, so maybe you need to go somewhere and live with, like-minded people. Maybe we're not treating you right. Maybe this is why you feel the way that you feel. Maybe this kind of education that you're being given isn't good for you. Maybe you need a better education. Maybe this religion that we're forcing you to believe in is not good for you. It's not right for you. Maybe you are more conscious than we are. Sometimes I do actually tell people that, sometimes it has to do with who you are as a person, right? You believe in Christianity because that's who you are as a person. That is fine. We are different, and that's what we need to understand. But let's not be forcing everyone else to be a Christian. You see, if Christianity does not resonate with some people, then don't force them to be Christians. If Islam doesn't resonate with some people, don't force them to be Muslims. Don't hijack their minds when they're still young, because they're going to grow up confused. You see? If they are very conscious, they're going to grow up confused. They're going to be asking questions. Grow up asking questions, and you're going to hate them for asking questions. You're going to lie to yourself and tell yourself that they have demons for asking questions. You're going to turn other people against them for asking questions, while you are the problem, while you are the bully. You see the problem? That's what's going on here. That is why intelligent people go through a lot in this realm. The truth is, there's nothing wrong with people who are unhappy if they are unhappy because they grew up in a place that is not right for them. If they are unhappy because they weren't being treated right. If they are unhappy because they don't want to wake up in the morning and go to work every day. If you are happy waking up in the morning and going to work every day, that's good. Look, dogs are happy being pets, right? But wolves wouldn't want to be pets. So would it be right to say, well, wolves, there's something wrong with wolves? Like, no, that wouldn't be right. Not all humans are the same. Some humans are super submissive and they want other people to tell them how to think, how to view the world. Like, they're just like that. Some people are just followers, I guess. Some people are just slaves, I guess. They want other people to tell them what to do. Follow me. Like, no. Some people want to be themselves. No, they want to be free enough to be themselves. They want to be free enough to live life the way that they want to live life. They don't want to be told what to do. They don't want to be anyone's slaves. They don't want to be force-fed information. In fact, they want to come up with their own information, come up with their own conclusion about things, about life, about everything. They don't want other people to tell them what to think about what is going on. You see? Like, that is not right. Because human beings ain't the same. But this society want to force people who are super intelligent to submit and just be like people who are not intelligent, who can't think for themselves, who just want to wait for other people to tell them what to do. You see the problem? So when these people end up suffering from ADHD, they tell them that, oh, well, yeah, you need medication. You have mental illness, you see? That's why you can't focus. Maybe I can't focus because you're trying to make me focus on things that I don't even like, that I'm not even interested in. You see? If someone at the age of 18, they are diagnosed with bipolar disorder, they believe that there's something wrong with them. That's why they are angry. Maybe they're angry because of all the things that they've been through. Have you realized that when you're not being treated right, you'll be irritable? Like, when you're not being treated right, you'll be irritable. And when you are happy, bro, like, it's not going to be easy for people to make you angry. But when you are unhappy, it will be easy for other people to make you angry. Like, you get easily pissed off. You see? So maybe it has to do with that. Like, we need to be honest with ourselves, because we lie to ourselves a lot and we end up abusing people because of the lies that we'll be telling ourselves. And these lies, because we don't think, these lies continue, like are passed on from generation to generation. When a kid behaves differently, we tell ourselves that something's wrong with this kid. That's why they're behaving the way that they're behaving. We don't even know how to treat them. You see, because we believe that kids must just be must all be the same. That's why in places where people are very conservative, it's hard to produce like people that are going to become something in life, because no one is allowed to truly be themselves. Everyone is forced to be like everyone else. Even the people who could become something in life because they're different, they're supposed to be like everyone else, they are bullied into submission. You must just be like everyone else. So no, there's something wrong with you. How can you be different? How can you see things differently? People who are older than you know how we should be. Like, no, actually, I'm more advanced than those people, and that's the problem. But you don't see that because you're blind. But that's the thing. That is why I keep on telling y'all that there's nothing wrong with y'all. Like, people tell me there's something wrong with them. I have bipolar, I have depression. Are you sure that you grew up being treated the way that you deserve to be treated? Are you sure that you are in the right environment? Are you sure that you were allowed to be yourself? Or you were being forced to be something that you're not, and because of that you weren't able to cope, and you ended up believing that there's something wrong with you, while that isn't the case. Like, let's open our eyes. Let's try to see things as they really are and stop lying to ourselves. Being unhappy doesn't mean that there is something wrong with you. You can be unhappy because you are that intelligent. That happens. You are so intelligent that you see that something is not right, and because you're able to see that something is not right, you are unhappy. Why should you be happy if something is not right? Why should you be happy if you see that other people are being mistreated, they are being manipulated, they're not allowed to be themselves, they're not allowed to grow, they're being indoctrinated? Why should you be happy, especially if you've had to go through the same things? Of course you shouldn't be happy. Like, it makes no sense to be happy when you are seeing the injustices that are going on in the world, when you're conscious enough. Like, listen, there are people who are so unconscious that even when they're doing something that is actually wrong, they don't even see that what they're doing is wrong because of their level of ignorance. Just like the example that I gave you of the people who will cut the lower part of the tongue of a dog, especially when there was like puppies. Like, that would bother me a lot, but they were doing that because of their ignorance. It's only now that people stop doing that. Like, I haven't seen people doing that, but when I was growing up, they were doing that shit a lot, and it would bother me a lot because I was already conscious enough to see that that was retarded. Is it? So that's the thing. You must ask yourself if you are not being raised in a society where things are truly messed up first before you tell yourself that there's something wrong with you. Because y'all judge yourself a lot because you don't fit in, because other people are telling you that there's something wrong with you. No, maybe they are the problem. Maybe there's something wrong with how they think. Maybe there's something wrong with the things that they've been taught to believe. You see? So we need to be that honest with ourselves. And we need to be honest about what is going on. And we need to raise our awareness so that we see things as they really are. We don't end up taking medication just because some people think that there's something wrong with us, even if that is not the case. You might find that you just need change. Maybe you're in a wrong place. Maybe you're in a wrong relationship. Like, all these things actually count. Not feeling good doesn't necessarily mean that there is something wrong with you. It can mean that there is something wrong with your environment. It can mean that there is something wrong with the people who are around you. It can mean that you are not being treated right. All these things count. We must be honest with ourselves about what is going on. The lies that we're telling ourselves are actually causing us more unnecessary problems that end up causing suffering. That is why it's like impossible to get rid of suffering, because people who are not conscious won't even really understand what I'm really saying. They will continue to do the same things that are leading to suffering. Do you think people who are unconscious, if they watched this video and they had kids and they were mistreating their kids, they'll actually be able to change? Be like, okay, yeah, we were wrong. Actually, we should allow our kids to be themselves, allow our kids to see the world the way that they see the world. They'll be like, nope. So, of course, things will never get better in the world because of that. That is why I'm hopeless. I see that as people, we are too different. We are too different to actually fix this world. We are too different to fix this matrix. to make this work. What we end up doing is abusing one another. That's one of the biggest problems. Thank you all, guys.